All right, guys, I'm just going to make a real quick video, something that I've been meaning to get out. But I want to share this with you, especially for you married guys or if you're dating a girl. I want to share something about female nature that I think will help you greatly understand and navigate the feminine waters, so to speak. Women desire to feel a man's power, to feel his strength. Okay, now this doesn't mean like rubbing over your pecs and rubbing on your arms. That's not what I'm talking about. Women are deeply attracted to the masculine, male psyche, so to speak. So when your wife or your girlfriend, when they do little things, whether it maybe you might think it's criticism or you might think that it's distance, coldness, oftentimes what the red pill community calls shit tests or congruence tests. A lot of what females do is to feel your strength, to feel your power. So they'll put distance between you and her. They'll get cold or pull back, become a little distant, not give as much, not be as affectionate. Okay, that is them seeing how you'll respond to what they're doing, but it's also to feel your strength. If they didn't pull back, if they didn't become cold and a little distant, they wouldn't be able to see your strength and your resolve and how you respond to that. So a lot of times guys get offended, they get mad, they get angry. Even if women will do things to intentionally create some tension. And they do that to see how you'll respond, but the other aspect of that is to feel your strength. So you have to think about this in a whole different way. Instead of being like, man, my woman is this way and she gets cold, she gets distant, or she gets irritated or whatnot. Those are tests. Don't get me wrong, they're tests because she wants to see how strong you are. She wants you to pass the test. Even though she's trying to get you to fail the test, she wants you to pass the test because passing the test allows her to feel your strength. So like a lot of guys are like, man, my wife usually texts me a lot during the day, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just doesn't talk to me, she doesn't say nice things, whatever it is. Don't get upset at that. Don't get upset about that. Instead, look at it as an opportunity for you to let her feel your strength. Because on her side, when it doesn't bother you that she's not all over you. It doesn't bother you that she's not texting you or she's not calling you. It doesn't bother you that she gets cold. That's an opportunity for her to feel your strength. They love to feel a man's strength. So just as an example for me, if my wife isn't all into me and isn't, all about me, and which she normally is, but on the days that she's not, if she's cold, and their cycles also affect this, but when she gets cold and distant, it used to really bother me. It's like, what in the world's going on? Because men are creatures of habit. So we're used to constantly paying attention to, we very much like to pay attention to habits, rituals, and we notice when things aren't normal because we are creatures of habit. So what we need to do is when that happens, we just mirror that energy, whatever she's putting out. So if she's cold and distant, then you become cold and distant. You do your own thing. You come home and she doesn't seem that into you, go work out. Go do something in the yard. Go play with the kids. Go whatever it is. But don't for a minute think that it's a bad thing, because what it is it's an opportunity for her to feel your strength. If she didn't do that, if she didn't get cold or distant, if she didn't pull back some, she wouldn't have the ability to feel your strength. Oh wow, my husband is, he doesn't need me. He's not dependent on me. He doesn't need my validation. That's what she wants to feel. And I would even one up you on this and not only say that when she does it necessarily, but you need to interject some of this on your own. So if you're, like all of us, are creatures of habit, you need to do your own thing. If you're used to doing A, B, and C every day when you come home from work, throw in some K, M, Z in there. You know what I'm saying? Mix it up some. Because not only do they like variety, but they like to feel. And for her to know that her husband doesn't need her validation, that he's his own man, and that he's not dependent on her for anything. You got to go back and look at like God's character, right? That God is in need of nothing from us. And we as a people, we wouldn't want a God that, we wouldn't even be interested in following a God who is dependent on whether or not we loved him or wanted to serve him or not. He's big enough. He created all this. He doesn't need us for anything. And you're supposed to be the same way. Now, do we like our woman's attention? Yes. Do we like the physical touch and affection of our woman? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. But as a man, you have to be able to operate without those things. That's just a bonus. It's just icing on the cake. But the thing is your wife wants to feel your strength. She wants to know that my husband isn't dependent on me, that he's himself no matter what. Because you got to remember, a woman is always looking out for her best interest. They call it hypergamy. Okay, or hypergamy, however you want to say it. But the thing is they're always looking out for what's best for them at all times. It's and the thing is that a man who is taking care of himself, a man who is dialed into himself, a man who is doing what's in his best interest is usually in her best interest. In other words, the better that I do as a man, the more muscle that I put on, the better I eat, the better I take care of myself, the harder I work, the more money I make, the more disciplined that I am, she benefits from that. And they know this intrinsically. Which is why they're attracted to men who are selfish, okay? I'm not using that term selfish in opposition to what Scripture says, but it does say to love your wife as yourself, in the sense that as you take care of yourself and you do what's best for you, it is naturally going to benefit her. It is naturally going to elevate her. The more elevated you get in society, in the world, in your life, the way that you live, it is naturally going to elevate her. So the problem is when you're focused on her, when you sit around and you focus on her, you can't elevate. You're not getting better. You're not rising above and becoming better when you're focusing on her. And they know that. But a man who's about himself, about going to the gym, about eating well, about making money, working hard on his game, that kind of stuff, she knows because you're her man, that what you do to better you is going to better her. Does that all make sense? And if you're a man who's dependent on her affection, if you're a man who is dependent on her emotions, if you're a man who's dependent on how she, whether or not she's cuddling with you, this or that, you can never be your better self. because everything is dependent on her, how she acts, how she treats you. I don't care. When I go home from work, it used to bother me. I used to, if my wife wasn't a certain way, if she wasn't predictable, I was like, man, what's going on? I was in my head all the time. What's going on? Why is she acting this way? But the thing is that just eats you up. She wants to feel your power. And if she tries to start a little argument with her, don't engage. Don't engage. She wants to see your strength. If you can say no, that's a way for her to feel your power and your strength. So don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to put your foot down. And the way you put your foot down is not by raising your voice and arguing and yelling at her. The way to put your foot down is just to be very matter of fact. No, we're not doing that. And don't argue. Anytime you argue with somebody, you're elevating them to your level. If you're a king, you don't argue, because then you're elevating people to your kingship level. You don't want to do that. But what you do want to do is hit the ball out of the park. If your wife's cold, distant, bitchy, grouchy, just typical woman stuff, don't let it bother you. My wife, if I come home, she's bitchy and grouchy, I head straight downstairs to the gym, put my music on, and start pounding the weights. And usually, within an hour, I'm getting a text message, and she's all sweet and kind and cuddly, and, hey, baby, I want to watch a movie with you, I want to cuddle, whatever it is. But that's because she felt my strength. Them feeling your strength, it's like Beauty and the Beast, right? Like, the Beast is this furry, beastly man with these big horns, and he's like, rah, And she wants to feel that beast. She wants it's security, it's safety. It's a way for her to feel your masculinity without you beating the crap out of her. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, to feel the strength of something without it causing harm to you. She wants to know that you're that guy. You're him. She wants to know that you're strong, you're capable, you're confident, you're congruent, that the things you say and the things you do, that they all line up together. It's addicting to a woman to feel the strength of a man. And what you'll find is, over time, the more and more and more and more and more that these things happen, that you actually respond in a way that is not caring, that is not being bothered, that's not getting upset, that's not, getting butthurt because of how she acts. She'll actually begin to do it less and less and less. The more that you pass, the more that she feels your strength, she won't feel the need to test that strength. She'll still do it. Mine still does it. But it's nowhere near like what it used to be. Because she knows. At some point, you try something 1,000 times and you get the same response all the time. You don't need to push the button as much anymore. So this video is about being able to understand that you need to let your wife feel your strength, to feel your power. Even if you're 5'3" and 100 pounds, your strength and the power doesn't come from your muscles, it comes from your mind. It comes from your ability to not be in your head when your wife, they don't want to be in your head. They don't want to take up all this space in your mind. They'll tell you they do, but they don't. They want you to be concerned about you. They want you to be concerned about taking care of you and the priorities that you have, so that they can understand and know that it's going to benefit them. And a man who's constantly concerned about what his wife thinks or how she feels about him, or whether or not she is attracted to him, or whether or not she loves him, or whatever it is, that man is not strong. That man is weak. And that man is not about his business. That man is not about um, becoming the best version of himself, because he's too concerned about her and what she thinks about him. She wants that guy that's like, yeah, that's fine. You can be cold. I'm going to go down and work out. I'm going to go out and, fix the car. I'm going to go, replace, if you got project cars, whatever it is, you need to have your hobbies, the things that you do. Because she's going to find an immense amount of pleasure. That distance is where she feels your strength. It's in the absence that she feels your strength, not in the presence, in the absence. When you go to work and you're not blowing her phone up, you let her come to you, she wants to talk to you, she wants to reach out to you, you let her do it. But that's how she feels your strength. Don't deny her the opportunity to feel your masculinity. And men's attraction grows from being together with a woman. A woman's attraction to a man grows through time apart from him, her time away from him. So don't be the guy that's in her orbit. Let her be the woman that's in your orbit. Let her come into your orbit. Let her, and that's another thing too. If she's like, I want to spend more time with you, I want to do this or that, you need to know as a man when is the time to do that and when isn't. Because they will try to trip you up. They will try to get you to give them all your time, spend all of your time and your energy with them, and that will cause them to lose attraction to you. So you have to know how to balance it. You have to know when to say, yeah, this is enough. I got stuff I got to do. I need to go work out. I'm writing a book. I have to take time to go write a book. I have to make time to write things that I write, and I do studies and things like that. Some of them I share on here. So don't be afraid of the distance that she creates. And in fact, I would even tell you that you need to create distance yourself. You need to be the mystery. So if she's always the one doing that, if she's always the one being, like getting cold and distant and whatnot, that's a problem. You need to create some of that yourself. Come home from work, hug, kiss, downstairs, hit the gym. My wife will be like, well, why didn't you come snuggle with me on the couch when you got home tonight? It's like, well, I needed to work out. I hadn't worked out in a couple days. You know what I mean? Don't make her the center of your world. Don't make her the center of your thoughts. Don't make her the center of your being. That place is reserved for God. And you are God. In other words, God resides in you in the flesh. You need to take care of you. You need to be about you. You need to be about bettering you, because the better you are, the better your wife is. You need to embrace the distance that she brings, and in fact, you need to create some yourself. You need to be that man of mystery. And just like a child, they'll test. You could see this. If you've got children, I've had 8. Children will deliberately create instances for you as a parent to, they'll test you. Part of that testing is to see if you're going to budge, but the other part of that testing is also to feel your strength. My children, my girls love to see their father being a good father. They enjoy it. In fact, when they're wrong and they do wrong, whether it's getting spankings or having accountability, things like that, and it seems kind of like, I don't know, like self-sabotaging in a way, it's not. They just want to feel Dad's resolve. They want to feel my strength and my power. And to know that, hey, my dad is not going to be pushed over. My dad is not a pushover. My girls love me to death, absolutely love me to death, and they are addicted to seeing Dad in action. And sometimes that comes through, and when they throw their fits. My girls love to play the silent treatment with me when I get on to them and I put them in their place. They'll do the silent treatment. I don't go loving on them and hugging on them and saying, "Oh, don't be mad at daddy. I don't care. I don't care. I like what they think of me doesn't keep me from being who I am. Just like God, what we think of him doesn't keep him from being who he is. We have to have that same mentality with our children and with our wife. My son told me, I have to respect you, but I don't like you. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to go beg him and be like, "Oh, I need your affection. I need you to love me, and I need you to want to respect me and all these things as a father." No, I'm just going to be who I have to be. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You have to lead. Leading doesn't mean that people like you in the moment. Leading can mean people actually dislike you, very much so. But I found that children and women very much like to feel daddy's strength and daddy's power. Daddy's ability to be daddy regardless of what people think about him. They love it. In fact, I have a Father's Day card here, and can share it with you. That was my Father's Day card. See what it says there? Strong, bold, balanced. Okay? Thank you for being such a wonderful, caring, and thoughtful husband and daddy. I appreciate all the hard work and the dedication to our family. You are a strong and bold leader, and I value all that in you. This year marks 11 years of being a daddy to our firstborn. You have stepped up for other children, and they will see that value too. Together we have a wonderful home life and values that you have instilled in us. Okay? It says, "You're the perfect blend of everything that makes a great dad and husband, and I love you for all of it so much." Okay? Strong, bold, balanced. Strength. That's what drives. Women are addicted to a man's strength. They love to feel. They do like to feel your muscles. I'm a big guy. I mean, I'm like 6'2", 250 pounds. Like, I'm a big guy, and I'm very strong. They like that too. I'm not going to say they don't. But what's more important is mental strength, emotional strength. That's what's more important, is that you can handle the distance between her and you. That you can handle her, what does it say? That live with your wife in an understanding way because she's the weaker vessel. She is the weaker vessel. And that weakness likes to feel strength because she doesn't have that strength on her own. She needs your strength. She needs to feel and know your strength. It's comforting. Kind of like I was talking about the cisterns and the water. Water will naturally find those cracks in the cistern, and it will leak out of those cracks. Okay? That's a weak man. The water doesn't get to feel safe and secure because it's not contained. It finds a way out of the cistern. But a man who doesn't, that water has tried to find the cracks and there's none there, that water is peaceful. It knows that it's contained. It knows that it's being taken care of and there's nothing to worry about. Okay? That's the man you have to be. Is that she can rest knowing that you don't have any cracks. And at first you're going to have cracks. But over time, I don't have cracks anymore. My wife will try and see if, the distance between us will make me weird or uneasy. It doesn't. And that makes her feel safe. That makes her feel like, oh, if he's like God in this sense that he doesn't need anybody, and he's the man that he is, regardless of the world around him, that's a man I can depend on. That's a man I can feel safe with. You want her to test you. You should want and look forward to her testing because it's an opportunity for you in the same way that men test themselves in fights. In an MMA fight, those guys love getting into the ring because they get to see what they're made of. Your wife doing this is an opportunity for you to see what you're made of, to see what your strengths are, your weaknesses are, that you can fix them. And these little girls, I'm telling you, your wife is like a little girl trapped in a woman's body, in the sense that she needs healing from her childhood. Most women did not grow up with a strong male father in the home. They grew up with very weak men. This is your wife's opportunity to get healing that she from her childhood, from seeing a weak father, a weak man in her life. This is an opportunity for you to bring healing to your wife, to bring rest. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, I will bring rest to your souls. It is your job to bring her rest. She doesn't have to worry about anything. Part of that comes from your strength. Little girls who've grown up who've been molested, little girls who've grown up and been mistreated by men, who've been used and abused by their fathers, their uncles and neighbors and this and that. This is an opportunity for you to bring healing to her. And if you have a wife who's been through those things, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You will know what I'm talking about. Because you single-handedly have an opportunity to absolutely change the course of her life and bring life to her, to make her blossom. Even if she's had, lots of different men, she's been in a lot of different marriages, relationships, this and that, you can absolutely get that woman bonded to you unlike anything. I hear all this, women can't pair bond when they've been with lots of men. Okay, that's partially true, but it's also partially not true, because the right man who can make her feel secure, the right man who shows his strength to her, she will absolutely fall in love with that man, and she will cling to him like no other. She wants to feel strength, and the sad thing is 99.999% of women today in the Western world will never, ever, ever feel a man's strength, other than what they read in a love romance novel or what they pick up on a love romance movie, which even those are pathetic. But she'll never, ever feel that for herself. It'll always be living vicariously through some character in a book or on a screen. But I'm telling you, when your woman feels this, if you read the book, the book of the Nazarene, what it talks about, when Christ says that the woman, if a woman has multiple husbands, which one is the one that she's going to be with for eternity? He says the man that she prefers. Okay, and if you read in there, he talks about the man that she prefers. What that's going to be is the one that's been forged in heat. Okay, it's been tested. So I want to leave you with this. Don't run. Don't try to close the gap. When she's putting distance between you, do not try to close the gap. You let her close the gap. The emotional stuff is for her. Your job is to take care of, protection and provision. It's her job to worry about the relationship. You let her worry about that. She's like, oh, I'm going to pull away. Then you pull away. God says, draw near to me and I will draw near unto you. Well, the opposite of that is if you pull away from me, I'm going to pull away from you. He's not going to chase you if you decide you're going to go the other direction. And it's fine. She wants to be quiet and alone and by herself, in the sense that, she wants to sit and watch TV by herself or whatever it is. Don't let it bother you. Go do your thing. And don't deny her the ability to feel your strength as a man, because that is what's going to create attraction. That's what's going to create the bond that lasts a lifetime. And that is what's going to bring success to your marriage, to your family, and your children are going to see it, and they are going to reproduce it.